So again, my name is Kate Goddard, and I work with the National Center on the Afterschool and Summer Enrichment. And as I mentioned earlier, today's format is pretty unique. We're doing a very quick 20-minute virtual tour of our new resource library. And so the format is really just a presentation and demo of the resource library. And then we're going to showcase a few of the featured resources that you can find in the resource library. And then we'll have some opportunities for questions. And just a little bit, I wanted to share a little bit about the National Center on After-School and Summer Enrichment. The goal of NCASE is to ensure that school-aged children and families of low income have increased access to after-school and summer learning experiences that contribute to the children's overall development and academic achievement. We are funded by the Office of Child Care and are one of the national centers that make up the Administration for Children and Families Early Childhood Training and Technical Assistance System. We are officially in our second year as a national center, and I will say that the launch of the resource library was one of our biggest accomplishments of year one, and we are thrilled to have the opportunity to share it with you today. So before we introduce you to the resource library and take a look at it, I want to take a minute and talk a little bit about some definitions and words that we use both within the resource library and within the work that our national center does. So we do use the words out of school time, after school, and summer interchangeably. So really what we're referring to is any kind of programming that happens out of the school day. And then, of course, our center really focuses on school-aged children, and there you can see a definition really referring to students who are in school versus those differentiated from preschool and infant and toddler. So to introduce the resource library and to share a little bit more about the goals of the resource library, I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation over to Kathy.
Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Schleier, and I'm very pleased to be here with you from NCASE and telling you a little bit about our library. So as Kate has said, the goals for our library are to provide resources, and our primary audience for those resources are system-level state administrators, those working in, say, licensing, regulation, and or, say, monitoring staff at the state level, as well as those folks who are working on things such as quality improvement and workforce development. There are resources in the library for technical assistance providers, for coaches, as well as information that is useful for those working at the program level with families, community organizations, and those, of course, that provide out-of-school time care in their homes. So you see, one of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that the resources that we provide to you have some simple, easy ways to come to you. And the first being that all resources are free. They come at no cost to anyone. So this website is open and anyone can access it. There are varieties of types of resources. We have things that are reports, infographics, webinars, fact sheets. And in searching for items, we look for ones that offer, say, best practices or innovative ideas. And of course, we like to share examples where we find them. So you'll find state work shared with descriptions of, say, case studies or other things that are happening in states of new practice, et cetera. We also offer some reference tools and some standards. So one of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that we're providing current information, so everything on the library has been offered within the last 4 years. But on the other hand, we also want to make sure that there are pieces that we consider critically important and useful, so some of those may be a little bit older than 4 years, but everything, of course, has been geared toward making it useful to our audience. As Kate said, the library launched in August, and we are adding materials on a regular basis. And so with that in mind, we hope you'll check back often to the library to see what's in it. And we're also gearing items in our library to events that we are hosting. So say, for instance, if we're doing a webinar on continuous quality improvement, we will then put resources in the library that reflect that topic as well. So with that in mind, I think Kate is going to give you an actual view into the virtual library. So she is going to pull up the library from our URL from the website, and you can get to that from, so this is a view of our NCASE website, and from there you can see her little pointer. She's going to the box that says NCASE Resource Library, visit now, and from that she can click right on it, and it will bring you right into the resource library. So one of the things, of course, depending on the size of your computer, you should be able to see the top portion of the library, which shows you sort of the screen that says National Center on Afterschool and Summer Enrichment, Resource Library. And the first thing that you'll probably notice is that there are some featured resources that we offer. And so we sort of highlight, and we'll be rotating those items, things that we think you'd be interested in and useful to you. So with that in mind, you come down to the area where you can scroll into beginning a search. And to do that, we can search in sort of 3 different ways. So in that dark blue box on the left where it says search for resources, there's sort of 3 ways to search. One is by topic. You see that's where her cursor is. And you can search by resource type. As again, I mentioned, we have things like webinars, infographics, reports, so you can open up that menu there and search by type. And or if you've very specific, you know the publisher, you know if you're looking for something and you know who's written it, you can search by and look through all the names of the publishers that are on the website. So that's sort of the broad and general way to do a search. And then Kate is actually going to conduct a search for us, and she's going to take us into some of the actual and specific resources that are located within the library. So let's see,
Great.
Kate, are you ready
Yeah,
to
thanks,
take that
Kathy.
back?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that great overview. So yeah, I think it's a little easier for the one driving the browsing to do the search. So I'm going to show just a couple different resources that we have available to you, in the resource library, and the ways in which you can search and find what you're looking for. So as Kathy mentioned, we do have the topics here. All of the resources have been categorized by topics, and we really see this as the main way for a user to navigate through the collection. And a lot of the topics that we've chosen really correspond and align with the way that the Office of Child Care has organized their content as well. So, so you can see there's a number of different topics that you can browse by. And so for our first example, I wanted to showcase how to search for something related to quality improvement. So I'm going to go ahead and just select that, and the page will automatically reload, and the selections the resources that correspond to quality improvement will automatically appear. So, this is very similar, I'm sure, to many resource portals that all of you have been on before. It's very easy to use, it's very intuitive, but we did want to just kind of showcase a few of the ways in which you can navigate the resource library, and then also highlight some of the resources that you'll find in the collection. So, so I've searched for quality improvement, and on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that it's still selected. And this one, we actually have quite a number of resources categorized by. So if you scroll down the page, you'll see that there's, you can kind of go through all of the resources here that are tagged as quality improvement. But I want to look at an example to show you kind of what information is available to you once you've discovered a resource you want to check out. So here is the QRIS for School Age and Youth Development tool. So I'm just going to select the title, and that's going to take me to a new page. And on this page, I'll be able to find out more information related to this resource. The description has been written with our audience in mind, so it's pretty short but to the point, and hopefully giving enough information that you're looking for about that individual resource. Of course, we have the link, so this will take you to that resource. As Kathy mentioned, all of the majority of the resources in our collection are external resources. So we've curated what was already existing in the field and included it all here in the resource library. And then you'll be able to find things like related topics to give you a little bit more background and how we kind of have categorized this resource, who the authors of the resource are, the resource type, and then the length and the publication date. So I'm going to go ahead and select the resource and show what it looks like. So once I select it, I'm going to give it a second to make sure everyone can see what happens. Once I select the resource, I'm now brought to that individual resource on its source website. So in this case, QRIS is the publisher of this resource, and so I'm able to see more information about the resource, and then if I scroll to the bottom, I'm able to download the presentation slides from that resource and then access the webinar recording. So really straightforward, but I'm going to go ahead and demo like another example so you can see a different type of resource and another way you can find some information. So here I'm going to go back to our search, and I'm going to see the original search that I had done. So you can see that quality improvement is still selected, my search results are still being displayed, and all I need to do is hit reset, and I'll be able to do another search. So now say I'm looking for a particular type of resource, whether I'm looking maybe for, I'm doing a training and I'm looking for something to provide some background on after school and summer, or maybe I'm looking, I knew that there was a webinar I wanted to see for myself and I missed it, I want to look for that. You may be looking for something specifically by the type. And so I'm going to go ahead and search for journal article and see what appears when I do this search. So if I scroll down, you'll see that there's a couple different journal articles that are here. And again, you'll kind of get a quick snapshot of what each of those resources are just by the description that's there on the page. So similarly, I'm going to go to this one, the effective strategies for engaging parents, real-life experiences that make a difference. And then on this page, again, you'll find very similar information that we just saw. You'll see the link to where the journal article can be found. You'll see related topics, the publisher, the author, the type, the length, and publication date. So all of the resources are all cataloged the same exact way. They're all providing you some background on the resources, and then they'll take you to the actual resource. In some instances, you might find the file within, and in those cases, it's something that we, NCASE, have probably produced. So here's an example of a journal article that's available in the resource library. This is a great article. I definitely encourage everyone to check it out. And the articles there are available for you. Again, it's free, it's easy to access, and it's pretty current. So I can select the download PDF, and I can access the article right there. I'll let that load for just a minute. And then if you wanted to save it, you'd be able to save it or print it or do whatever you wanted to do with that resource. And then just to showcase one other resource, I'm going to go back to the home page for the resource library. And in this instance, instead of going back to search, I'm just going to select the logo. And that's going to take me back to the original landing page for the resource library. And that's also going to clear my search results. So it's a fast way to get back to doing some searches. So I wanted to start all over again. So in this instance, I'm going to open up the publisher. And one of the things about our resource library that I think is its strength is that we do have, we're pulling resources from all of these different organizations that have been doing this work for quite a long time around after school and summer. And so you can see that in our publisher list, the breadth of publishers that we have in a lot of different organizations that we're kind of calling resources and information from. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and showcase some of the resources that the National After School Association has. So I'm going to go ahead and select that from the publisher list. And again, all I need to do is check the box, and the page will automatically reload and show me my search results based on the the filters I selected. So here are the two resources that are in the resource library that the National After School Association have produced. And I'm going to go ahead and check out the NAA Core Knowledges and Competencies. This, as we know, is a resource that we reference a lot in our work, and so we'll go ahead and take a look at it. So again, you'll see all the same information. All the resources are cataloged, again, the same way. There's a description. The links are there for you. It's been given some different topic categorization, the publisher, the length, and the publication date are all available. And then I'll go to this one. And again, it takes me directly to that resource on NAA's website, and I'm able to download or watch or whatever the resource may be, the information I'm looking for. And again, all free and all really accessible and easy to get access to. So I'm going to go ahead back to the home page, and I'm going to stop the virtual tour there and see at this point if anyone has any questions or comments or feedback, and turn it back over to Kathy to share ways that you can provide input and feedback on the resource library.
Thank you, Kate. And I just want to mention, I don't know if some of you had sort of the technical issue I did. If you didn't see all the things that Kate was describing, I think that was just, say, a bandwidth issue with the webinar, but that obviously she was doing it. It works rather seamlessly. So just wanted to mention that as an aside. But also, so we just want to say a few things that we're looking for feedback. So there's a couple of ways you can give us feedback. One, you can type in some questions now into the chat box. So if there's anything that you'd like to know now before we close, please do that. Also want you to know that our address is here. You can email us and send us suggestions for the library, either items to go into it or feedback on the site. And the other thing we want to make sure is, because we're always interested in knowing both how our webinars are doing, but also gaining your feedback on presentation and the library itself, there is going to be an evaluation of this webinar that's going to launch in just about a minute or so upon completion. So we really hope you'll take just a couple of minutes and go through and answer that evaluation and let us know how this visit was. And then we just really want to thank you all for being part of this virtual webinar, and we hope you'll visit the library often and send the link to your friends and colleagues, and they'll visit the library as well. Thank you for joining us today.